The Special Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu has urged the Nigerian government to honor the call by the United Nations to release Kanu, warning that the Nigerian government may trigger a nasty diplomatic conflict if it fails to release him. But a coalition of 52 northern groups has also called for immediate withdrawal of this demand by the United Nations. What kind of fruits do you think this can bear?
Well, the way it is now, there are so many groups interested in this matter. It is not just IPOB or people of the East alone that are interested in this matter. It's not just the federal government. So as you can see, this is part of piling pressure. This is part of giving support to the government so that the government can believe that it has not done anything wrong by keeping Kanu in detention, by allowing his case to go on. So you can see all the fighting words being used by both the CNG, Coalition of Northern Groups, as well as IPOB spokesman, Emma Powerful. They've been abusing one another over this matter, using unprintable names. As far as the Coalition of Northern Groups is concerned, it was wrong of the UN to have directed the federal government to release Kanu, bearing in mind, in their words, some of the negative things that Kanu had done against his country using IPOB. So they are saying that it appeared that the UN had taken side. In fact, they went to the point of even saying that the UN was fond of siding with a particular part of our country. I don't know where they got that from. The UN cannot be seen to be supporting a particular ethnic group in our country or supporting a geopolitical zone or certain nationalities in our country. We need to run our country better. We need to do our best to please all the federated units in our country. When the UN intervenes in matters concerning our country, it suggests that there are certain things that we are not doing right. That is my problem with our leaders and some of the people who purport to speak for even these leaders. I'm not surprised that the Northern Group has risen in support of the federal government and urging the UN to even withdraw the directive that it issued to the Nigerian government. I think that if the UN had seen IPOB strictly as a terrorist group and viewed some of the terrible things happening, especially in the enforcement of sit-at-home in the Southeast, as the works of IPOB, I do not believe that it will have taken some of the steps that it took, But even at that, when you look at the manner, I think this whole thing has to do with the manner in which Kanu was forcibly brought to Nigeria from Kenya. That is the bone of contention for the UN. I don't think the UN was bothered so much about some of the negative things attributed to Kanu, including some broadcasts that he had made, which the Northern Group says it was sure that if he was doing that to some countries in the West, that they will have taken serious actions. I think the action of the UN has to be understood. The UN was concerned about the manner Kanu was brought to Nigeria for trial. That is their main concern. And the way he was brought to Nigeria for trial contravenes international conventions. If you must have someone extradited, that person has to go through an extradition trial in that country. Remember that Burundi Kashamu was going through an extradition trial in Nigeria before he died. You know, that is what the law says. Put him through an extradition trial, and once the judge okays that person's extradition, then he will be sent to the country that made that request, where he will then undergo strict trial, where he will then be subjected to the law. He will be made to face the law. But by seizing someone from an hotel room, violating what the UN frowns at, and the federal government stands indicted in doing that. How, for example, would anyone feel if the Americans, having established a case against Abba Kyari, decided to use military might to storm Nigeria like paratroopers and seize Abba Kyari and take him away? Because it is not beyond the powers of America to do that. The American military has the power to do that, you know. But how would we feel if someone came into our country and seized a Nigerian that the Americans had a case against, and then took him to America to face trial? There has to be an extradition trial. That extradition trial didn't happen. And because of that, the UN, the group, is not happy with the federal government and the Kenyan government. And that's why it came up with that indictment. So I think it's that is what the government must address. That's to explain deeply that Kanu was involved in terrorism was not really accepted by the Nigeria. Nigeria responded. Right. So the Kenyans didn't respond. So they didn't really accept our explanations, and that was why they came up with the indictment. It took some time for them to study that matter and come up with an indictment. So we stand indicted on the manner in which we carried out the extradition. It didn't follow international law, international convention. No one can deny that. No one can deny that. And I'm saying that if the Americans will come to our country to storm the police headquarters, for example, and take away Abba Kyari at that time, when they announced that they had a prima facie case against him for advanced fee fraud or conniving with a popular fraudster, I'm not sure we'll be happy. Right. They were working with our government, they complained to our government, and efforts were being made, you know, within the ambit of the law. So once you take extra legal means to secure the extradition of an individual, of course you've gone against international law. No matter how convincing your argument will seem, you've gone against international law, and that is why they decided to indict us.
Right.